All right, guys, we are back with another trading breakdown. Before I get into this breakdown, it was a good day. I ended up taking 2 trades today. One was a loss, one was a win. Ended up making about $1,000 on the P&L at the end of both of those trades. But before I break those down, make sure you guys are locked in with this Discord. We officially launch tomorrow, August 15th. All right. Now there's people already in the Discord. You know what I'm saying? People already hopping in before I even officially launch. Now you are welcome to do that, but understand I will not send any trade ideas until tomorrow. So if you are looking to get into that, link is in the description below. Also, the link will give you the ability to buy my trading plan from that link itself, or once you're in the Discord, you can get into the server shop where the trading plan is available. It's $50. It'll help you kind of break that learning curve or shrink the learning curve when it comes to how I trade if the videos, YouTube videos don't do it for you. It's a step-by-step of exactly how I break down my charts, when I'm looking for the entry, what I look for before I hop in. So if you guys are needing those small details, it will be in the trading plan. And then of course, if you want to get a little bit more exclusiveness, we have that monthly subscription for those who want to trade with me every day. I've said this so many times, you guys know what it's about. Hop into the Discord. You know what I'm saying? It's free. You don't have to pay for it if you don't want to. You can get the products if you want to, but the actual Discord itself is free. So let's hop into the trade breakdowns for the two trades that I took today and how I was able to make a little bit over $1,000 on the day, even after taking an initial loss. All right, so the first one we're going to break down is going to be my first trade that I took, which was on crude oil. It was a loss that I took, right? So hold on, let me take this off. And then let me start off by going to the daily time frame of why I decided to take a buy instead of a sell. I should have took the sell because that was more high probability, but you know, hindsight, right? So as I was looking at it, as price was doing what it was doing, I initially saw buys. And let me show you why I did this, and then how I probably could have avoided it moving on. So start from the daily time frame. We see that we did have a market structure shift after we took some sell side liquidity on the higher time frame, right? This is very key in why I probably should have waited before I took the buys. So on the higher time frame, on the daily time frame, we took sell side liquidity and we had a market structure shift into a fair value gap, right? Now this fair value gap held. You know what I mean? So that should be clue number 1 of sales might be more high probability today than the buys, even though we shift the structure on the higher time frame, right? So I mark off my daily highs and my daily lows, right? I also marked off potential interest areas of interest for buys, right? So I personally, before I took this buy today, I think the only reason that I had a buy in mind is because I saw that we had tapped into that daily fair value gap to the upside. But I should have remembered that we had just tapped into a fair value gap that has been sitting here for a minute, right? So I think sales, I think that's the reason why I lost, because sales were more powerful today because we tapped and held that initial fair value gap, that even though price tapped into a daily fair value gap that was just created, it might not hold the second time around. And I'm going to show you why I say the second time. Let's go down to the 4 hour. And as you can see, before any of this happened, we had tapped into I think this was Tuesday. Okay, so we hadn't tapped into that fair value gap. Let me mark it off so I can show you. Okay, so we hadn't technically tapped into this fair value gap yet. until earlier today before I took my trade. We tapped into it and then we rejected. So I'm thinking we're probably going to continue up after that rejection. That's not what happened. So if I go down to the 1 hour, it's so much stuff on here. If I go down to the 1 hour, you can see around, what time was this? 6 a.m. we did end up tapping into this fair value gap. So for me, I'm looking for a price to come up, right? And then once we tap into that fair value gap, we push out heavily and then come back into some sort of retracement so we can continue up buys. But what I did not pay attention to, and I should have paid attention to, is we were going into, right? We already hit a fair value gap that we were looking for price to come into, right? A discount. We were looking for price to come into a discount, and then for it to retrace back down, or pull back down. So we did that up here, right? And then we came down and we tapped into a daily fair value gap that was left yesterday, right? We tapped into that, but on a bigger scale, we're already in the overall direction that we need to be in, which is sales. So I unfortunately decided to take a buy thinking that we were going to come up here and take these highs out before coming down, when I should have only been looking for sales because we had, again, tapped into that daily fair value gap. So I end up getting in once we hit this, see, and this is displacement, right? So once we created these equal highs and then we displaced down, we never came back into that area, which means that this area is probably going to be extremely volatile, or it should react extremely heavy once we get back in there. So I shouldn't have been trying to buy into that area, right? So that's a big mistake as well. So I'm telling you, from the daily to the 4 hour to now the 15 minute, of all the clues that it was giving me that I shouldn't have probably been buying, but for some reason I saw buys today, which is okay. Like sometimes you're not gonna see what you need to see in order to get into your or you see something that's not really there in order to get into your trade. And that's kind of what happened today. I saw something that wasn't there. Another kind of inkling, like after, you know what I'm saying, hindsight after it already played out, is that price did close below the previous day low. And remember, I think it was, I don't know if it was yesterday's video or the day before, when I said if price does not close below the previous day low, we're probably going to shift structure to the upside and take some more liquidity. But if price comes down and with a market structure shift or breaker structure and closes below the daily low, we just need a retracement up before we come back down. And that's what happened. And I did not pay attention to that. I think there's really no excuse. I just didn't pay attention to it and I ended up getting clapped. So as you can see, price came into this fair value gap that I did not have marked up. I was only looking at this potential equal high for price to come back into, and then I saw that we had a rejection of a fair value gap and then a 15-minute close, and I wanted to get in right there. And I think I actually got in on a 5-minute close. Yeah, I got in on a 5-minute close, and then I break of that candle, and I end up it just took me out instantly. And I think I lost about $3,000 on that trade, which is not bad because I'm up on this account. This is a challenge account. I'm up on this account already, so that's a little over 1% for me. So I wasn't too mad about that one. I was mad that I didn't pay attention to the higher time frame fair value gap. That would have told me already that I probably should have only been looking for sales. And then once price closed below this daily low, I probably should have only been looking for sales. But I saw something as price was doing what it was doing, I saw something differently and didn't wait for price to close, and that was my mistake. So lesson learned for the next time. Take all things into consideration before we take our initial entry. All right, so that was my first loss, right? So I'm down at this point $3,000. Most of the time I probably wouldn't take another setup unless it was A+, right? So I end up looking at NG. There was nothing there. Price just continued to push on up, right? And then I looked at YM. Now, again, YM is not a instrument that I trade a lot on, but it is it is something I've been looking at more often if it presents my my setup or my strategy looks like it's more high probability. So I did take this in this setup. Now I didn't risk my normal risk, right? Because I didn't want to be down potentially $5,000 on a day. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. So I lowered my risk, right, for this particular setup because I was very much so confident in it. And let me break down why I took this setup. So normally I wouldn't take on, let's just say on CL and NG, I wouldn't take buys this high up, but I've been back testing YM and realized that sometimes, right, and if you go back test YM, you'll be able to see this a lot more. Sometimes price does not retrace all the way down to the 50% or the 61% before it goes up. YM is super volatile and it only needs a small retracement or pullback before it end up doing this thing. And because we had news already took the liquidity from both sides from the sell side and the buy side. So we weren't really looking for anything else once it did that, right? So once price took liquidity on the buy side and the sell side during news, I think it was CPI or PPI news today, I wasn't going to trade that anyway. So I was just going to wait to see what price was trying to do. And then we end up taking more liquidity again, I think around that 8:30, 9 o'clock time. We take more liquidity, and even 9:30 we took liquidity and then failed to break lower. So I'm like, okay, price has taken both sides of liquidity, right, and has failed to break lower than that, and we are already at or above previous day high, which means if we fail to go lower, we're only going to go higher because we're already above the previous day. So if we close above the previous day, I will be interested in taking a buy. So for my particular strategy, I like to wait for some sort of discount or some sort of reversal or some sort of liquidity to be taken, right? And then go and take some continuation to either side. So for this particular setup, I wanted liquidity to be taken. So we end up taking buy side liquidity up here and then sell side liquidity down here, right? So confirmation number one. Let's put sell side liquidity here, right? And then I was like, okay, I need some sort of momentum to show me where price is trying to go after liquidity has been taken. So we end up getting this particular candle right here, leaving for a value gap, but then the next candle just end up, I don't know, US 30 is very wonky to me. Like it leaves a lot of wicks, which is why I don't trade it often. But it ended up coming down and filling that gap and then failing to close below again. So I'm like, okay, I if it gives me an entry, I want to get in. So I end up waiting, right? And I see that price takes more liquidity to the upside. We end up taking more liquidity to the upside, right? So I'm like, all right, we keep taking all this liquidity to the upside, but we're not closing below anything. So like, what are we doing here? So I'm at this point, I'm still waiting. I end up waiting until this, what time is this? 9:45 candle, right? Because I needed some sort of direction to be given. And then I see that on the lower time frame, right? This is why I have market structure shift here. On a lower time frame, it looks like we took some structure. So I'm like, okay, maybe we'll probably be selling. If I go on the 5 minute, you can see why. We come up, take the highs, and then we displace down, right? So I'm thinking, okay, we're probably gonna take some sales here. So that's why I have this marked up. So for me, what is my strategy? I wait for price to come into a fair value gap, right? Displace down, come into a fair value gap, and then give me a if I'm selling, it's gonna give me a bearish candle close and then a break of that bearish candle, but we never got that. So I'm like, okay, we never got that. Let me switch over to the 15 minute, and then I see this 15 minute never closed below, which means this is more liquidity being taken to the downside. So we have no more liquidity, right? We've taken it here and we've taken it here, right? So the only other way that it could go at this point, unless it does some more stupid stuff like price action can do, is to the upside, and we're already so bullish. So the probability of it continuing bullish is higher. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to take any sells right now. I only want to take buys. So if it gives me a bullish candle close and then a break of that bullish candle, I will get in. And I actually think I got in, was it on a 5 minute? I got in on a 15 minutes. I think I got in like right there. And I end up closing somewhere in this area for a little less than a 1 or 2, just because, again, I was already down on the day. I just wanted to close with some profit. And I actually think I held up here. I held up here until this candle closed. And I ended up making back my original $3,000 loss plus an additional additional 1,000. So I think I made a little over 5,000 because the first trade was like $3,500, $3,600 loss. So let me show you guys my P&L. So end up making that $1,000 on the day, and this is after my first loss and then the second one being a win. Let's look at the actual P&L though. Yeah, so it was a $3,200 loss, and then I ended up making this one. I think I accidentally closed like $1,000 profit like before it ended up going all the way up to my TP. I didn't mean to do that, but then I end up closing around that $3,000 mark. So I ended up making my loss back plus a little bit more. But this just goes to show you how important risk management is. And then also, not just risk management, understanding that this is a long-term game, right? This is a game of longevity, which means even though I lost today, which I lose, like I'm not one that only wins, I lose a lot, but the overall goal is to win more than you lose. So even if I did take my L's today and didn't take another trade, I would have been okay. I just happened to take this trade because I saw that it was high probability, right? Now it's on a different instrument than I normally take, but I'm starting to look at US 30 a lot because I like the way it moves. I just have to back test some more before I just am on it every single day. But yeah, as long as you win more than you losing, you good, you Gucci. Like you shouldn't, and your risk management, like you're not winning more, but they're smaller trades, right? Like the amounts are smaller than your losses. Now that doesn't make sense. But if your wins are bigger than your losses, which is why I hold for the 1 or 2s, right? If my wins are bigger than my losses, then I will be okay. I would have been okay losing today and walking away. I just happened to take another trade, like I said. So yeah, that was my breakdown for today. I hope that made sense to you guys. And we're on our way to getting some payouts, and I'm gonna be letting you guys know or showing you guys that real soon. I don't know when, but real soon I'll show you guys that. But this right here, this account is a challenge account. Again, I have these PA accounts, but this one I traded today was a challenge account. And the ultimate goal is to be on my own live account. I don't want to be trading prop firm accounts all the time, but I'm in the mode of stacking, right? So I'm gonna be stacking until I can't stack no more, until I have enough to where I no longer need to trade PA accounts or prop firm accounts. But that was it. 2 trades today, 1 win, 1 loss, but up for the day. So today counts as a W day. We like to end the days with a win, but we only take our setups. So if this helped you guys, please leave a comment down below. And also let me know what other things you guys want to see. I don't want to just be sitting in front of the computer like this talking to you guys. It can get a little boring, right? So let me know what you guys kind of want to see. I want to kind of show you guys a little bit more. Obviously you guys can probably tell I'm into fashion, so I may like get into that a little bit more, like incorporate that into some daily vlog type of situation. I don't know, but you guys let me know if you guys like these videos and you just want me to continue them, if you guys want me to start incorporating other stuff. But I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Launch of the Discord is tomorrow, so I'll be sending my first, if we get it, my first trade idea into the Discord tomorrow. And those that are going to be in it, if you are in it, make sure you guys, if you do take the setup, whether it's a win or a loss, show me your results. All right, so I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the next video. All right, peace.